Welcome to Knockhill Racing Circuit for the final round of the Scottish Sports and Saloons. It's been a great season. The final race sees Paul Bryden back on pole position. We've seen him there quite a lot this year. Dry conditions, full slicks on his BMW. We also have the Minis as well, the Mini Cooper S. Ollie Mortimer, who's wrapped up this championship on pole position. And his season-long rival, Paul Wilson, just a couple of cars behind. But we also have Vic Covey Jr., former Mini Cooper Celtic Speed champion, third as well on the grid for the Minis. I'll hand it to Richard and he'll take us through their first race of the day.
Thank you, Joe. It is Paul Bryden on pole with Ron Cummings second, third place Andrew Morrison and fourth Colin Simpson. Row 3, Kenneth McKell and Finlay Crocker, Alan Doncaster, William Robson next from Thompson McIntyre and Ollie Mortimer. Scott Tollan and Paul Wilson on row 6, Vic Covey and Alistair McMillan on row 7. Penultimate row, Chris Blackhall and Andrew Patterson, Lyle Forsyth and Gary Waite completing the grid. 5-second board shown right of shot there from the starting gantry. The lighting sequence is underway. Paul Bryden and Ron Cumming on the front row of the grid. Ron in the Nemesis kit car gets away, as you would expect, very quickly. So too does the blue Marcus Mantis of Colin Simpson. Not surprisingly, Ollie Mortimer is quickest away of the Minis as they go down into Duffus for the first time. A great field of cars here. Once again, Alistair McMillan getting it sideways in the Ford Focus ST. Alistair, one of the guest drivers this weekend. And we've got dust down there at McIntyre's. It's Finlay Crocker who's off the circuit. Crocker is beached in the gravel. Hopefully he'll be able to get going. Alistair McMillan rejoins. But it's Ron Cumming leading, Paul Bryden second, Colin Simpson, then Kenneth McKell. Kenneth McKell, one of the championship contenders after the last round. I'll explain about the points as we watch Thompson McIntyre coming along the straight. The championship leader is William Robson. Now they've started the race. As I said, mathematically there were 3 contenders for the outright championship. All of the individual championships settled, as indeed we called them last time out. If you were watching us, I hope you were, and I'll talk about those later on. But because we've got inter-class battles going on, the overall championship needs to be decided today. Now it depends on the number of starters, so there were 3 drivers in the mix, but Kenneth McKell, because he runs in Class A1, there are only 2 entrants, he cannot make up enough points today to overhaul William Robson in the overall standings. So McKell, class champion this year, and we ride on board with him. He will, I think, take 3rd position in the championship. Nobody can take the Class A1 title away from him, but he's not going to be able to go for the overall title, which is going to be between William Robson and Andrew Patterson. Now, having said that, Andrew Patterson is on his own in class, as he's been all year. And Andrew, as we've got the battle on now for 2nd place, Colin Simpson going side by side with Paul Bryden, makes the move, and so too into 3rd place goes Kenneth McKell, going back to the overall championship. 28 points separating William Robson and Andrew Patterson. So essentially there are only 18 points available for the 2nd race today. So if William Robson finishes this race, he will be crowned overall champion by my math. So I hope that's okay and everybody understands what's going on. And a big congratulations to all of our champions for this year. Kenneth McKell, Class A1, and now looking at Bryden once again, goes through. That's one of our guest drivers, that's Chris Blackhall in the Mini, who is off. Hopefully he'll be able to move from there as Ron Cumming goes across the line. Finlay Crocker back on track, which is good to see, but a lap down. Maybe more than a lap down, but certainly not in contention in the Honda Civic TCR. A lot of excitement going on about TCR at the moment. And the TCR Championship having a round here at Knockhill Circuit next year, which I know everybody's going to be looking forward to immensely, as well as, of course, the British Touring Car Championship, which is in its Diamond Jubilee year next year as well, and we're all really looking forward to that. You can see Crocker inside line here, keeping it tight. That was good driving by Finlay Crocker, vastly experienced driver, knows he doesn't want to interfere with anybody else. McKell goes past as well, super driving Finlay, but he's still enjoying his track time, which is absolutely key as well. But safety car coming out, that is because of Chris Blackhall's car. Now I can tell you, Gary Waite didn't start this race. We did call Gary on the grid, but he was a non-starter. And Chris Blackhall, the first retiree of the race in his Mini Cooper. The Minis, as I say, really got some super names in the Minis. And Chris, his car will have to be pulled away, so it looks like a breakdown for him. But also in the Minis, we mentioned Ollie Mortimer, got Vic Covey, Paul Wilson in the Minis as well. How many championships between Vic Covey, Ollie Mortimer and Paul Wilson? Absolutely incredible lineup in the Minis, and hopefully more to come for next year. Safety car intervention, of course, does excite the race fans here because it closes things up. It doesn't do a lot for Ron Cumming, who built a decent lead in the first couple of laps, and he's away again with Colin Simpson in third place. Kenneth McKell is in third. McKell, this year's Class A1 champion. Ron Cumming, the A3 champion. Andrew Patterson will take runner-up slot overall, the B3 title. Andrew Morrison, the Class A2 winner. William Robson at the moment. In fact, thinking about this, yeah, he does need to finish. So long as he finishes, he'll be crowned the overall champion as well as the B1 title. And there is Andrew Morrison going through. Andrew, wondering if Andrew's got the most titles out of everybody on the grid as far as this particular championship is concerned. Well, we're going back to titles again, and mini titleists here right in the mix. Ollie Mortimer in the black car ahead of Paul Wilson in the red machine, and we're on board with Vic Covey Jr., who has probably the most experience of mini racing here in the Celtic Speed Scottish Mini Cooper Cup. Former champion himself, looks at the outside line of Paul Wilson here, and he brakes hard, and later than Wilson on the outside line. Wilson, though, got the initiative. Covey might think about having a look up the inside, can't quite do it. Ollie Mortimer now breaking away from his two mini compatriots. I think the fact that they're dicing with each other is particularly exciting. Scott Tolan is ahead of them at the minute. Scott was last year's Class A1 champion. And Scott is, I think, third in this year's championships. Had a sporadic time of it, really. Had a couple of DNFs at the first round. Picked up a few points, but not the robust defence that he would perhaps have wanted to do, as we focus on the minis once again with Paul Wilson in red up ahead of Vic Covey Jr., who runs a little bit wide there but might carry some momentum through Butchers and up into the chicane. Let's see what Covey can do. He's not hanging around, is he? You saw the poise of the car. And Vic here looking far from rusty as well. We've not seen him for a long time. Nice to see the Lotus Exige of Lowell Forsyth on track as well, guest driver. And Covey is shaping up Wilson again. Wilson knows that he's got to cover the inside line, but he'll also know that Vic will have a look on the outside, which he does again. Slightly different line this time. Is he going to go for the cutback? Runs wide, now has a look down the inside line. I don't think Wilson was expecting that, or maybe if he did see it, it was late. They go very close together, side by side, and Vic Covey's got his nose in front here to take second position in the Mini R53 class. They're still side by side. Wilson's hanging on to it, but has to cede second position in class to Vic Covey. Good piece of driving here. Both hard on the brakes going down into McIntyre's. Covey in second. Wilson sees the opportunity. No, back on the inside line and back into second place. Super driving by these two champions. They know the cars well, they know the circuit well too, and that really does show there. Here comes Ollie Mortimer, the mini leader. So Ollie getting away. Those two, I'm sure if they weren't scrapping with each other, would be up on terms with Ollie Mortimer here. But look at this again, Covey on the outside line. Ron Cumming is going to take another win in the Nemesis kit car, the 2-litre kit car. Every time he's raced, he's taken an outright win, and this will be win number 7 of the season. The safety car hasn't affected Ron at all, and he is up front here. Colin Simpson in the Marcus Mantis is running in second place. Ron, of course, lone runner this weekend in Class A3. Colin Simpson will win Class A2, and Kenneth McKell, third in the championship, will take an A1 class victory in the 18 points that go with it. Here we come, up to the line, and it's Ron Cumming that takes the win. We look back, it's a gap back to the Marcus Mantis. You can see Vic Covey did in fact get the better of Paul Wilson at the end. We saw the black and yellow car going across the line in 11th. So Ron Cumming from Colin Simpson, Kenneth McKell and Paul Bryden. Andrew Morrison was 5th from William Robson, the new champion. Now congratulations to him. Lowell Forsyth next from Thompson McIntyre, Scott Tolan, Ollie Mortimer, Vic Covey, Paul Wilson and Andrew Patterson.
Well done, first place. It was a good battle though, a really close battle.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it actually. Colin was keeping me honest there after the safety car, like, you know. And it's glad to be, but I'm glad I'm back again, like, so. I've had 2 races out because I had a misadventure, like, with Graham at Graham Waite, the last meeting in July, the 4th meeting of the year, and it's caused me a lot of hassle and a lot more when I got home, when I seen the damage. So it's kept me out for 2 meetings, so I'm not a happy man.
I saw when I came in there that the car, it's got loads and loads of power, but it's got loads of grip. Is that a hill climb tyre? I put my hand on it and my hand basically stuck to the tyre.
Well, Joe, you know, you've got to choose the right tyres. You can't go out there and...
They don't give you much, they don't have much life, do they?
No, they won't give you much life, Joe, like, but it's, you know the story. The more grip you can get, the better it is.
Well done.
Okay, thanks.
Ollie, well done. 100% record winning in the minis this year. They're getting closer. Paul was kind of there until he dropped back there, but you're going to have to get beaten at some point. Surely you can't win every single race.
I know, I mean, I came into this race thinking, you know, best I'll get second because Vic's running a couple upgrades for next year on his car, which is we're totally fine with because we're trying to get the grids up and we're going to have them next year. So I didn't expect that win. That was the most unexpected one, so I'm happy with that. But the key to that race was I managed to get the Lotus Elise that was coming through the field in between us twice. And that, you know, that helped me get a gap, and that's really what helped me win that race. So apologies to the Lotus Elise driver for really cutting him up a few times, but that's racing, eh? It's no SLS.
The final race of the 2017 Scottish Sports and Saloons is about to begin, and it's Colin Simpson on pole position. We also have the Mini Coopers as well, with Ollie Mortimer back on pole position for that class. I'll hand it to Richard for the final time this year.
Thanks very much, Joe. Ron Cumming due to start on pole. Colin Simpson, though, will start there. Kenneth McKellen, Paul Ryan in row 2. Andrew Morrison and William Robson from Lowell Forsyth and Thompson McIntyre. Then it's Scott Tollan, Ollie Mortimer, Vic Covey and Paul Wilson renew battle on row 6. Row 7, Andrew Patterson and Alan Doncaster. Finlay Crocker, Alistair McMillan, Chris Blackhall and Gary Waite complete the entry. We've got a few non-starters here. Ron Cumming, Alan Doncaster, Finlay Crocker, Gary Waite, sadly, but still a good entry. And are we going to see Colin Simpson here disappear down into the lead? Kenneth McKell will have other ideas. He's third in the championship in the number 37 Mitsubishi Evo 8. Paul Bryden gets away well. There's our new champion, William Robson, in the Ford Focus RS. Wrapped it up in race number 1 and joins a long list of champions. It's a cracking start between Wilson and Covey once again. Wilson in the red mini's got his nose in front of Covey. Ollie Mortimer away and down there. Come on, lads, let's give Ollie Mortimer a bit of a run for his money in this one. Andrew Morrison is there, the 2014 outright champion when he was racing in Class B1. And Ian Donaldson, champion in 2015. Paul Bryden last year, as we mentioned. So some great drivers we've seen take the titles over the years. Now then, the race leader is the outgoing champion, Paul Bryden. It'll be a good way for him to wrap up the year. Kenneth McKell in second place, the Class A1 champion. He's already wrapped up third place, and McKell goes through into the lead. Super move past Paul Bryden by Kenneth. Oh, look at that, he really is fighting it hard as he goes down Duffus, the back end wanting to squirrel away. Now we're going to see a battle, I think, between these two. So it's McKell from Paul Bryden on board with Paul at the moment, trying to get back on terms with him. One of the things I love about this, don't get me wrong, I love one-make racing, but when you've got all the classes and all the different types of cars together and you get them evenly matched as we've got here, and different characteristics working on different parts of the circuit, race fans absolutely love this, and there is still a very big marketplace for this type of racing. Look at the Marcus Mantis coming into it as well. Colin Simpson, he's working hard. Love to see all of these guys back for a full season next year. Let's see what Simpson could do as they go up the hill. Pulls out of the slipstream, looks up the inside line, uses all the grunt to go past Paul Bryden. Back up into second position, that 5 litre Marcus Mantis powering its way through, but now we're getting into twists and turns, and it may be that the BMW will get back on par here. Super piece of racing. Kenneth McKell, though, is away and down the road. Remember, the A-class car's running on racing tyres, the B-class car's running on the treads. So technically the B-class cars, I guess, rubber-wise at least, a little bit cheaper, a little bit more cost-effective if that's how you want to set yourself up and come into this type of racing, and then move on to spend a little bit more on the slicks when you've got more experience. And it's these three big guns out front at the moment. Kenneth McKell, the A1s, of course, the four-wheel drive cars, so a little bit of an advantage at times for the A1s. On to lap number 4. William Robson, this year's champion, the second of the two cars, coming under a bit of pressure from Andrew Morrison. And William Robson running in Class B1, and that's another great thing about this championship. You don't have to be in the high performance class running on the racing tyres to take the overall title. William Robson, very, very deserving champion this year. He's worked hard, and it's fair to say that Class B1 has had consistently the better entries, although he's dropping away a bit at the moment, Robson, so let's hope he hasn't got a problem. He's had a very consistent year, hasn't had a non-finish. He's picked up multiple class wins over the course of the season. And when you've got a better subscribed class, although you get more points, it's not always a done deal that if you do all the races you're going to win the championship, because it's been a competitive class as well. We've seen different drivers win in that class, as Andrew Morrison now gets the better of Thompson McIntyre in the Subaru Impreza. I thought Robson was dropping away. He's closing up on these two again. So Morrison, the 2014 champion, starting to try and pull away, heading up towards Clark once again. Kenneth McKell is still the race leader. Ron Cumming, incidentally, got fastest lap, unsurprisingly, in race number 1, and Kenneth McKell has that honour so far in race 2. This is round 14 of the championship, and Andrew Morrison at the moment running in 4th place. Kenneth McKell still out front from Colin Simpson and Paul Bryden. Thompson McIntyre is next. Here is Ollie Mortimer, busy chasing Noel Forsyth. I believe it or not, remember we saw Ollie Mortimer on the outright podium last time, and Mortimer challenging the guest driver in the Lotus Exige for 6th position. So Mortimer, we know he's a major talent behind the wheel, as too, of course, is Vic Covey, who's getting involved here with Alistair McMillan, who we saw have that spin. Looks down the inside. Covey allowing the front-running drivers to go past. So that was generous driving from Vic Covey, and that's going to allow Chris Blackhall back into the mix as well. But it's Kenneth McKell still out front at the moment, on to lap 8 of this 12-lapper. Remember, the first one went to 14 because of the safety car intervention. So McKell out front. Colin Simpson, though, piling the pressure on him big time at the moment. What a super battle. Marcus Mantis versus Mitsubishi. The Mitsubishi up front at the moment. And McKell, who we've seen take outright victories before, looking for a 3rd outright win of the year. He's taken class wins, he's taken outright wins when the moment's presented itself as well. And he's driven real well this season. McKell will supersede Scott Tollan as A1 champion. Ian Donaldson taking it the year before. Here comes Paul Bryden in the mix as well. And also in shot, Andrew Patterson in the black BMW. We really need to say a well done to him. He's been a lone entrant in Class B3, but he's chivied away. He's only had one non-finish this year, and he'll be 2nd overall in the championship. Obviously class titleist. But Colin Simpson still trying to close down, seemed to make a little bit of inroads. I think the back marker traffic fell relatively well for him, and there's a bit of respite from that at the moment, and McKell's starting to get away from Simpson. McKell's best time, 53.9, and that an average speed of a shade under 95 miles per hour. Colin Simpson's best lap, 54.035, and it looks relatively settled between those two at the moment, with, as I've said, Paul Bryden 3rd, Andrew Morrison in 4th place. Morrison running 2nd in Class A2, and then Thompson McIntyre, the leading B-class car at the moment. Blue flags being shown to the drivers that these guys are closing up on at the moment, and the next car in the mix is going to be Paul Wilson We're on the anti-penultimate lap of the race here. Wilson running second in the minis at the moment, has broken clear of Vic Covey in this race. But this overall dice not finished yet, and Knockhill could be coming under pressure. It looks like Colin Simpson is starting to mount an attack again as Paul Wilson is approaching. Look at that, Paul Wilson even indicates and moves over to the inside line. Great driving from Wilson. These guys, of course, racing in one-make championships in the Celtic Speed Mini Cooper Cup over the years, but they're well versed of the discipline of multi-class racing, and allowing the two front runners in this race to go through might be a different matter maybe if there was a big dice going on. Actually, even though, having said that, we saw Vic Covey move earlier on when he was dicing for position. But on to the last lap. Kenneth Knockhill, class champion, looks like he's going to sign off with an overall win here from Colin Simpson in second place. Paul Bryden is in third. A little bit of smoke out of the back now of the 16 car. It's challenge over. Surely he's still not that far away from Knockhill, but Knockhill still with fastest lap. The man who secured third overall in the championship before he'd even turned a wheel in anger this weekend. And class champion, which was wrapped up last time. Simpson still chasing hard, but the signs are not good from that car. Down in towards the hairpin for the last lap of the 2017 Scottish Saloon and Sports Car Championship. Thanks to all of the drivers who've put on some great shows all the way through the year. That's Scott Tolan immediately in front, and Scott has to do another lap, but it is indeed Kenneth Knockhill that wins. Congratulations to him. Colin Simpson is second. Third place across the line goes Paul Bryden, with Andrew Morrison at the bottom of the hill running in fourth place. Kel Simpson from Paul Bryden, Andrew Morrison, Thompson McIntyre, Long Forsyth, then Ollie Mortimer, Scott Tolan, Paul Wilson 9th, Alistair McMillan, Vic Covey, Chris Blackhall and Andrew Patterson.
Ollie Mortimer, 100% record in the minis. I'm sure you're not going to get it as easy as that next year.
No chance, no chance. I mean, I didn't think I'd get it that easy today, to be honest, but it worked in my favour. Got a really good start there, and that put a good cushion of sports and saloon cars between me and the other minis, so I really could stretch my legs and just get away from them, and that was my plan, and it worked out brilliant. So yeah, 100% record, over the moon with that. So got all winter to do a few wee tweaks here and there, so come back even stronger. But although, like you say, the competition will be harder.
What do we expect next year? Double figures?
I'd say about halfway through the season, possibly. You know, get the double figures. I hope so, and I think it will definitely. There'll be a lot of Cooper people trying that as well. But also, there's other new people coming into the Coopers, so it's working out well.
You've had a hell of a year this year. Have you ever sat down and worked out how many mini races you've won? Because it's got to be a lot. It's got to be in the hundreds.
It must be. I've never actually worked it out. My dad's probably got it written somewhere.
Bet your dad does. Bet he's got it engraved on a plate in the living room.
Yeah, he'll have it written somewhere, right? In his wee book where he adds all the prices up and things. I've had a good run in the minis, definitely, no doubt about it.
Well done, Ollie.
Thanks very much.
Well, unfortunately, that brings today's racing to a close, but what great action we've seen all year long. Please make sure you tune in next time for more of the same.